So I had a question on Instagram about, being that you're a collector of valve amps or tube amps mostly, have you ever considered playing through like a modeling amp or a Kemper or anything like that? There was one question that we had come in today. I thought, that's a great question. Have you ever experienced the digital world?
Why?
Yeah. Well, there you go.
No, no, I have.
Yeah.
I have. One of my first amps was a Yamaha 50-watt solid state. Still have it, still use it. So at home, that's the go-to amp. If I want to pick something up, I'll just plug into that, turn it on.
Yeah. What about full-blown
for
digital?
transistors to warm up.
Yeah, exactly. What about it just in terms of some of the, you see the Fender Mustangs and the Boss Katanas and all that, any of that sort of ever? No, I didn't think so.
No.
With a pedal collection quite like yours too. Yeah, actually, Dave has more pedals than me, and that's what I do for a living. That's
not just a pedal collection, but also those fancy effects units.
Yeah.
I reckon I'll probably end up getting maybe almost every one of them to give them a bash, try them out. I just found them all to be too complex.
Do you mean like the all-in-ones?
All-in-ones,
yeah.
the multi-effects.
Yeah.
That got everything.
You mean like in terms of like the digital ones or the analog?
Digital
one?
Okay, well, actually, even analog ones. I think there's a Vox one that's got a couple of tubes in there. Tried that as well. But they're always just too complex.
Mm-hmm.
Everything out of the box is too saturated, too much delay, too much distortion, too much phase, too much chorus, too much of everything. So unless you spend a lot of time fiddling with them, they're really not that usable. No. So I've just never been a big fan of those. I've always preferred simplicity of valve amps and simplicity of individual boxes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Recently I reviewed this thing from Joyo. It's called the Gem Box 3. It had everything in there and more. And I found it was awesome for delays and reverbs, but when it comes to just an overdrive pedal going into an amp, an actual one is always better. Because I remember this years ago, I bought one of those, what was it, a M13 from Line 6. It had more buttons. What was it? There's this joke that was going around. Our friend Khaled said, more buttons than a haberdashery or something, right? Like he said something stupid like that. It had buttons all over the place. And you know what I ended up doing? I took that and I used the delays, and then I had my two favorite overdrive pedals in a wah, and the whole thing was like this big. I was like, what am I doing? Yeah. So I flipped it and I got a delay pedal and a reverb pedal or something back then. I was like, I'm done. There's just not something about it I don't think is quite as nice, or it's more fiddly, and it's not as easy to edit on the fly. At least that's how I feel about it anyway.
No, I've always just preferred the simplicity of the individual boxes. Yeah. And somehow tended to gravitate towards Boss pedals. Not plug-in Boss or anything like that, but it's kind of actually... I
was about to mention that, actually.
I'm seeing a psychologist about this. No, I did wonder why. Look, they're tough. Do the job pretty well.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
So most of my boxes tended to be Boss. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And, like I said before, Dave's got a lot of great pedals from all different companies. They're just, it's really high-end sort of stuff on the most part. I don't think you've really got any junk in your collection like I have. And it's funny because I used to sort of laugh at you. I'd be like, you got all these pedals, and every time I'd see you with like a Boss Blues Driver. Why? Because they're great. You'd have a tremolo pedal.
TR2,
I had one of those
DD3.
as well. Yeah, and it's such a great combination of stuff. And just to put it in context, another friend of ours, Brian, who, as soon as Brian buys anything, we all buy what Brian plays because we hope we can.
You got no idea how much he's cost me.
Yeah. Oh, and me too. Don't worry about that. And now you know what he's using now? He's using a Boss Blues Driver and a Tube Screamer. That's it. He's had everything. Dual pedals, 3 pedals, everything. That's his main pedal board now for his amp. And he's also got an all-in-one, which is from Nuix, that thing called the Cerebus. And our other friend Dom's got one of those. I actually got another one sent out the other day. So they're pretty cool. But, yeah, it's funny how great those old Boss pedals are. They got it right. And I think as all these new pedal companies come out, they're sort of almost redoing the same thing with maybe a slight mod here and there, but you could get you could use any of those old Boss pedals or tube screamers or whatever from Ibanez or Maxon. They're going to be just as good as anything else. They just don't look as cool. I think that's why, they've stuck to that sort of 1980s Nintendo vibe or 70s.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, I actually respect that. I like that.
Yeah, look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think there is a lot of that in there because they are tough and they've proven themselves to be reliable over the years. So, yeah.
And the best floor tuner I've ever had is the Boss one. I love it. There's probably a million great ones, but out of all the ones I've owned, their TR2 or 3 or whatever it is that I've had now for 10 plus years is just unreal. It's stood the test of time. Yeah. It's they make really good stuff.
No, actually, the only Boss tuner I used to have the what model was it? Forget the model. It never worked properly.
Oh, okay.
Needles would always bounce up and down. No, didn't like it.
Oh, you're talking about one of those analog ones?
Analog ones, yeah.
Yeah. They were horrible.
They weren't cheap.
Yeah. Friend of Neil's got one of those. It's so unreliable.
Thanks for watching the In the Blues podcast. Subscribe for more episodes.